to the media, which seems to be influencing this body of work.
Yes, in this particular case, yes, I put in the right corner the iPad and the Last Supper and I think the Violent Films CD, and I was in a house of this friend in the center of the Mexico City, and I always trying to manipulate the space too. So I was through his house, and we are having fun, and I make this atmosphere. I always try to manipulate and to make these kind of atmospheres in somehow surreal and somehow it's real. And in this case, I want that everyone, all the spectators, has their own thoughts about what they are looking for in the pictures. And
you're saying that the narratives are always open-ended.
Yes, it's very open-ended, and maybe you think it's dead, the girl, but it's not dead. It's about It's very funny because the milk and the title called Ultra Pasteurizada.
Ultra pasteurized.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about that the milk was in bad. It was bad, and it's bad of the stomach, so it was like maybe not sick, but it's more than it's like in a hurt stomach, and
then the significance of the iPod. Talk a little bit about the media overload issue.
Yes, it's it's that we are living through this overloaded era that we are always in our own houses, and we are using just the iPod or the web or the TV to go out the minds. But we are in the city, for example, we are always in the house or always in the work or always inside some confined space. So it's like using the digital area to be free of a mind, no? To travel or to go everywhere. In this picture, it was my first group that I make a workshop with in a city that called Salamanca, and in Mexico. And this is like by the night. It was the first time I have so many people in front of my camera to make a shot, so I was very happy to do something with all these people. So I invite them to have a beer with me in the hotel room, because there's nothing to see in the city. It's very like little ugly because it's a
refinery town.
Yeah, so there's smells bad and it's nothing to see. So they came to my hotel, and I it's a funny story, that I tell in the morning, that I was trying to flirt at that time with a girl in the middle, that is the only one that is looking to the camera, and
under your direction, right?
Yes. So I tried to put all the people in. My first thing is that I want to make a picture of her, but without she's not noticed that I was flirting.
She's not aware.
Yes. So I make this image that is in somehow is ¿cómo se dice? Está como representando la forma en la que estábamos como tantos jóvenes con tanto fiesta y así, pero yo quería hacer una foto de ellos. Y sobre todo de la I was making a picture of her without, but no one is looking to the camera, just her.
He had ulterior motives here, and wanted to take her picture, but was embarrassed to ask her to do so.
So he took everyone's
took
picture.
Everyone and had them all looking away, but
Except
just
for
her looking at him.
Yeah.
And this series is about one of
Nirvana.
Nirvana. It's in 2007. I do 2 years with this series. It's the first series that I changed from digital to analog, and I used the 4 or 5 camera, the big ones, and without any Photoshop because I was tired a little bit about using all the time computer. So it's like the theme of this series is about looking for the peace in the middle of chaos, and it's a lot of about it's talk about the city where I live. It's a lot of chaos and the spaces where we find the peace. It's our own private space, no, and we don't need religion to find. It's my point of view to find the peace. So when I was looking for nirvana, this state of mind, the first thing I look is the grunge band Nirvana. So that's why I put in this picture the face of Jesus and this guy that looks like the singer of this rock band, Kurt Cobain. That I think it's like the metaphor that the rock moves more the young people than their religion.
And the other image?
In the other image is that this people, this woman is making poo, and it's
La sopa vietnamita.
no, it's she's making the bathroom and with this enlightened surreal lighting that found the peace doing that in their own room, and with this light that lighting her doing that. No, it's like a lot of fun, and it's all stage, obviously. And in this picture, it was with a friend that is an artist. He's a sculptor and a painter, and I went to his studio and I make this picture, and it's
You gave him the rabbit suit to wear.
Yes, I gave him this rabbit suit, and I tell him, hey, can you stand it here and can you put in this situation? And it's making fun of this kind of artists that want to be famous without working somehow, that they just want to sell with all his work without the experience of experimenting with their own work. They are like not being honest with themselves and making fun with like this attitude that these people with the costume, it's like a funny artist that is just for sale too. No?
You talked earlier today with us about what you're. Well, it's not this artist's story per se. Your artist is sort of playing the role of the artist who is more driven by the market and the consumerism aspect of mass producing artwork as opposed to making artwork that is honest. And so the rabbit, in some way, rabbits reproduce very rapidly as well, yes. So there's a parallel there. And I like this one just because you call it art curators. Why do you call this one art curators?
Well, this is these two friends are a German and Austriaco
Austrian.
curators. So they are friends of mine, and they're created many shows of my work in Mexico. And I was trying to make fun of them because they are like. Literally, they are a little. I don't know. When they start, they are. They're very friend of mine. Always, still they have been. They are friends, but they are like doing the show, and always when we are to parties, they are telling, "Oh, I'm the curator," and they are like this, and I was making fun of them. Like, why do you always telling that you need to be with the name and the second name? I don't know how to say. Like, you go to a party and I said, I am Fernando Montiel, I'm not just, I'm Fernando. That's all. You don't need to say the second name always that to be in this pose, no? That's...
I'm just going to make a precision because if not, it's going to be misunderstood. He is not making fun of them. He is making fun with them.
Yes, yes, that's important. And this called sacrifice. And if you see it, the same friend, the artist in his studio, it's the same. And it's about it's called Sacrifice, and it's a new series that I'm working with, and it's called Acts of Faith. And with this, in this particular picture, it's making like reminds to this Aztec sacrifice, and in somehow Aztec sacrifice, and in somehow it's like in this picture it's like looking in the future where is no food, and it's a little how in these two people go to the streets in the city and kill a dog to eat it. No, but it's not to be like alright. It's like making fun of the situation that's going on with this changing climate changing and all
Climate change.
climate changing,
Global warming.
yes.
And also, it's important to point out, maybe this is a good point, that all of your performers are really usually close friends of yours or family.
Yes, there are very good friends of my, always in the pictures, because we have better contact to work with. We share more of the life together, and it's like a diary of my life and a diary of my friends, portrait of my friends, and it's just not just a picture like this. It's making a lot of, if you see, it's like a lot of cinematographic atmospheres that involves film. Well, and it's this series. If you see, it's no Photoshop, and it's in this series too. I try to find like the introspection is the way to be free of. We don't have the exactly time and the free time to para tener una introspección. No tenemos ese tiempo.
People now don't have time for introspection.
And because always we are overloaded. We are like in the internet or in the radio or in the TV, or something's going on always. And living in the city, it's the same, no? And I try to find like the introspection makes you feel free, no? Trying to with all these and these absurd situations, it's in somehow the way they are. I make these people to put in stage in these apartments, and they are in an introspective moment in somehow.
And finally, we actually have one series that you collaborated on. So let's take a look of that, and then we'll invite the audience to ask you questions. So who wants to take the lead on this?
Well, yep. This series is called Matehuala.
And it's the first time that we work together in a personal project. So
yeah, it was important for us to make a personal project, the two of us. And we decided to go to a place that we both love. We like very much Matehuala. But it's strange because Matehuala,
it's nothing.
It's nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing to do there.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, I love Matehuala. It's like
we love it too.
Yeah, so we decided to do something over Matehuala, but with some kind of influence of his work and my work. But we wanted to do something that was not near to both of us. So we decided to make like what it's called like a direct photography. That's just put the camera
straight photography.
Straight photography. No? So that's what we try to do, and we work with an 8x10 camera that's really heavy.
So how did you collaborate? Who did what?
Both. We were like in the car and we saw something and said, "Oh, we should make pictures of that." No, let's not. And so we were like.
So it's mostly in the decision of what to photograph.
Yeah, like both. We were
We was driving through all the town all around. And decide, oh, this is a nice place, or this is a nice place, and we are working all by night or by day, no?
And what was nice about this project is that it will sound like strange, but with this project we know before we were able to know us better.
Yeah, like a
You
brother
understood
trip.
one another better through the project?
It's not understood. It's just although I
It
have
brought
all
you
my-
closer?
Yeah, and it makes like another special bond.
Connection.
It was like a that's how I say it. It's like a transformation trip. It's like we
Brother's
were
trip, ¿no?
what?
Un viaje de hermano.
Yeah, it's like a brother's trip, and it was like a when we left Matehuala, we were not the same. We were different, no, in many ways. So it was really nice. And what we also wanted to do is not just take pictures because taking pictures. We wanted to take pictures of Matehuala, a city that because of
History.
what?
La historia.
About their history that is really strange because it's in sacred land of the Huicholes, and it's also a pass. Now it's a pass of. It used to be a pass of tourists, no?
In the middle of the country.
In the middle of the country, but now they make ¿cómo se dice?
Bypass.
A bypass.
Bypass.
So almost all the city is abandoned, no?
Yeah.
Because of
No
a
one passed
politic
through.
decision.
A ghost town.
Yes,
It's not a
somehow.
ghost town because people have to live there, but they live with what they have. It's so difficult for them to live. And it was strange because when we get to the hotel, the clerk, he's the clerk, the manager, when he said, well, 4 nights, I said, 4 nights? Why?
Nobody spends.
Just because we want to, Matehuala, are you sure? Yeah.
Are you coming for a business? And we said, no, we're for tourists. Tourists?
Yeah. And we went like, I don't know, like 4 times. And the guy was always the same. You're again going to stay in Matehuala 4 nights? Yeah, again, 4 nights. Yeah. So it was really nice and to know people over there. And people, they were strange with us. Very afraid of us. That why are you taking picture of us? You wanted to take our things. They thought we were robbers at first, and because we had this big camera and whatever, and but it was really a good experience to do this project. And with this project, we want to make with other cities in Mexico that have the same situation of bad political decisions that right now are abandoned, not abandoned, they are a disaster cities that economics have made them more
Depressed.
poor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you plan to continue collaborating then?
Yeah, with this,
In
with
different
this,
cities.
Project.
in different cities all around Mexico, because there are many cities that have
And I think
almost
it's
the same.
going to be like years in this project for different trips.
Mm-hmm. Well, and just before we go to the audience, tell us where this was taken.
This is Zona del Silencio that is in Coahuila.
It's
And
Coahuila
it's in a place there is no electromagnetic
Field? Yeah.
field. All it doesn't work, and that's where it takes.
Okay, well, let's turn on the house lights. Thank you both for a wonderful presentation. And Rob has the microphone, so raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question, and we'll pass the microphone to you because we are recording. So who has a question for either Fernando or Gerardo? Anyone? Up front, oh, excuse me, up front here. Right here.
All right.
Just pass it, just pass it.
There you go. Can you backtrack?
Ooh, there it is. Can you, 1, 2, 1, is that good? Can you backtrack on the photographs? Can you go back
You want me
one?
to go back to,
That one. This first untitled, the one to my left.
on the left? Uh-huh.
Did you find that angle or did you do any arranging on that photograph? Did you change any of the objects in the room?
No, because that's what we want to do is like straight photography. The window of this diner was broken, so
And
we
it's
passed.
abandoned place.
And it's abandoned place, so we passed one of the legs in private property of the tripod. So one of the legs is inside the restaurant. We put the camera, and we were outside of the place, and we were. It was like really tight because the window was small, and we have this wide angle, so it was like we have to look for the vantage point. But for us, it was really important to make straight photography in this project specifically.
And there's a lot of stories that in this. Well, every photograph has its own story. For example, in that one, in 10 minutes taking the picture, some guy come and they tell, oh, this is a property of my family, so give me money to make the picture. And obviously it's not her property, so at this we make the connection to make a portrait of this guy with his family, so it has.
Was that the only shot you took, or did you choose this one out of
No,
5 different
that's
shots
the
that you
only
did?
one in this place, the
Right.
only one.
Well, the angle is great. The way the corner points right to the center and the back of the picture, and the white objects on the table,
Yes.
to the white objects on the floor. It's a great shot.
Thank you.
What kind of reaction are you getting from your local media to your artwork, to your photography?
That's the things that are strange to talk about, but I think we are part of the photography scene in Mexico. Like I think most of the people in Mexico in photography knows us. It's like we have been in many biennials, exhibitions, and